Where all my romance girlies at? This one is for y'all. What is up? What is up? Yudi from It's a Wrap here. Back again, another video. Do you guys like my sweater? I really feel like it fits like the theme of today's video. Today we are talking Black indie romance. I'm filming this before I've actually started reading, so we'll see how the actual video goes. But I have 5 in Black indie romances that I'm going to read. And yeah, we're just gonna see how this goes. I've said like in previous videos that I want to react to more romance. And normally I'm not that big of a romance fan. So yeah, we're gonna try some indie ones and see if that goes well. I will preface this by saying that usually I don't really enjoy romance because 1, I'm not a big fan of insta love. 2, at some point I feel like in a romance, like once like the characters like confess their love and get together, I usually am checked out. Like I'm not invested in the like whatever happens after that anymore. And that's why usually I don't really enjoy romance. Like the plot doesn't keep me. So we're gonna see if these work out. Hopefully this will be a series of me reading a few Black indie romance novels and sharing my thoughts, and also just recommending some good ones if you're interested. So let me not waste any time. Let me just share the 5 books that there will be 5, the 5 books that I'll be reading in this particular video. And yeah, I'll give you guys my thoughts. I haven't read the books yet, so I mean there's one that I've started reading, but I haven't gone through the books as I'm recording this. So how exactly this will be edited, it's still up for question, but let me get into it. All right, y'all, this is a check-in. I actually have my iPad here because I film with my phone. So a check-in. So right now I'm opening Kindle. The beautiful thing about Kindle is that it tells you how deep you are into a book. So I'm 64% into Vibration, Late Night and Early Mornings, Book 1 by Casey Mills. And usually the best parts of a book for me is like when the 2 romantic interests are like getting to know each other in the beginning, and then once they like decide that, oh, we're gonna be together, the book kind of like simmers down, and sometimes I don't even end up finishing. But right now I'm at the point where both romantic interests acknowledge that they like each other, and once we get past that part, and now I'm kind of like, I'm interested, I'm kind of invested. At first I thought this was kind of boring. And as I was reading it, I kept thinking to myself, I will probably like another Casey Mills story. I'm just not into this specific story. Like, it's not the style of writing. I think it's just the storyline that I'm just not interested in. So up until the point that Wright was all like, girl, I'm interested in you, which also kind of took me for a loop. This is kind of why enemies to lovers isn't my favorite trope. 1, because usually like the reason that they don't like each other for me is like, it's not that deep, kind of arbitrary. And then the moment that they decide that we like each other, again, it's usually like, this is what made you end up liking her. Like, or you just randomly look at her and you see, oh, she's actually kind of cute, or he's actually kind of cute, or you always thought he was cute. It was kind of like, I think you're attractive, I hate your personality. But the personality for me, I mean, again, there has to be some sense of redeemability in the character, so it's not like, wow, this is actually a deplorable person. and no matter what you do, like, you just should not be with this person. But there's a fine line, and sometimes I'm just all like, the reason, like, you never actually dislike this person. It's like enemies to lovers usually gives me, like, when you're a kid and a guy likes you, but they act like they don't like you, but really that they like you, and then they treat you bad and like push you on the playground, but really they're doing that because they like you. It's giving that. And that's why usually I don't really tend to enjoy it. But I guess I'm enjoying this because, like, I started this book the previous night and I'm almost done. But it's also really short. I think the book is only 196 pages. So I'm really almost done with this book. I'm at 124 pages. So we'll see how Casey chooses to, like, wrap this storyline up. So right now, I'm on the fence. Y'all, I'm cackling because y'all already done seen this whole get up in a whole book review that's definitely coming out, like, probably 2 or 3 weeks before this video. But yeah. It's actually the day, if we're giving context to when this is the 2nd of January. This is, we're fresh into the new year, baby. We fresh into the new year. If I'm doing my math correctly, I'm currently in Zanzibar, chilling, bringing in my birthday. Okay, January 20th, for context. I'm bringing my birthday alone, in peace, rejuvenating, okay, to get through this new year. Whew. Okay, but quick update on 2 books. I finished Restore Me and A Vibration by Casey Mills. Restore Me. I get the hype. But y'all nasty, okay? Y'all is nasty, okay? Because it was getting an end throughout this whole book, and I was not expecting that. I was expecting some deep internal journey, of her finally coming out of this grief, which is so interesting because isn't it kind of similar? For me, it's similar to You Made a Fool of Justice and Beauty by Kweke Emezi, because she had been grieving for, like, I think 4 or 5 years, maybe 6 years, like 5 or 6 years. She had been grieving the loss of her husband. So I believe also a car accident. So, but baby, that was messy. So one thing I've learned is that grieving is messy. Grieving is very messy. But but this is not as messy as that book. And I feel like J.L. Seegars definitely maybe a more relatable, a more clean way of her processing her grief. Because they're both, I'm going to say young. They're both young wives. Like, I think in the book, both of them are, like, in their early, like, just 30, if not in their late 20s, when they lose their husband, which for me is young. That's young to be widowed before 30, or just at 30. And I feel like this book kind of, because I'm not me comparing books about, widows, young widows, but comparing it in my head for Restore Me, I feel like we get more of, like, flashbacks, and we don't get any flashbacks for Kweke Emezi's book, but we do get flashbacks in Restore Me of, like, the relationship between Eric, who is her husband, her husband who has passed, and I believe it's Sloan, if I'm Sloan. I hope I'm not pronouncing the main character's name wrong. But anyway, yes. So we get like moments of, like, going through the past and the present. I don't know. One thing I wasn't really a fan of, like, the fact that Dom, or Dominic, who's the love interest, had been pining over her for 12 years from this one encounter in college. Baby, was that deep? I mean, obviously it was that deep because he's like, I've always loved you. But how can you love somebody you don't really know? Like, you're just lusting after her. And that was really it. It was just, like, intense lust. That was like I lust for you so much, I need you. But do y'all, like, he was like, I just been watching you. I know you inside and out. And something about it didn't feel like, for romance, you do have to extend some disbelief, you know? You do. So who am I, you know? But I just wasn't feeling it. I wasn't like truly invested. But baby, y'all nasty again. Cause them scenes, cause they did it everywhere and they did everything. Okay, they didn't do everything, but yeah. But if we talked about, you know, how beastly and dark and that's the only thing I can't get into with romance is because it's the same kind of. If we talked about Dominic's dark eyes one more time, I was just gonna lose my mind. I was gonna lose my mind about his eyes going dark. What color are his eyes? Were they hazel? That's I'm sorry. His eyes just kept going. I was like, why does his eye keep going dark? Sorry. But I was into it. At first I was like, am I gonna it's I think it's 465 pages. It's a and I was just like, am I gonna not finish this? But baby, once you get into it, they're all like, oh, we're in love with each other, baby, I was invested. I was just like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? I was going through them pages, baby, going through them pages, and I was just like, wow, I really stuck it out for this one. But I like this one more than Vibrations. I would definitely give it like a 3.5, 4. Definitely leaning on the 4. I get why the girlies like this. I get it. I feel like if it was another storyline, I would really enjoy this book. But I wasn't really in love with the storyline. So yes. Hello. I hope this is working. You can see that like all of my other videos have been in a different setting. But I literally am trying to figure out my camera, so hopefully this looks good. If not, you know, we figure it out. But this is an update. This is an update on how this whole Black indie romance is going. So 2 down. We're on my 3rd one. We're on Rilzy Adams Go Deep. I'm 54% in it right now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I think out of all the 3, this one is my favorite. I'm really enjoying their banter, and just the way that the conversations are written in like this book period just feel super like real, and they don't feel contrived for like the book. So I'm in this unorthodox scenario, like, but it's giving me the ability to expend I guess my belief or like my rationality on what actually can and can't happen. So I'm fully invested in the universe that this book is creating. And I will say, like, even like in Restore Me and Vibrations, actually Vibrations didn't have that many sex scenes. I'm lying. But Restore Me did, and it was very long. But this one is just enough for me to not be all like, this is too much. Yeah, so I get why the girlies like Rilzy Adams. I'm definitely gonna probably read something else by her. I'm probably gonna do a video like this again. So I add her into another video. But so far, so good. So far, this is giving me 4.5 stars. It's not a 5, but it's close. Like, it's a really good, like, this is the definition of a kind of light read that I would like. A light romance that I can like get into without being all judgy, you know, because sometimes I can get into it and get a little bit judgy. So I've been enjoying this one. And I like Xander. I like, was it Nevaeh? I just like their chemistry. I like them as individuals. I'm invested. I'm not like sitting here like, girl, I don't know about that. Like, yeah, I think it's cute. It's cute a cute romance that I can say, yes, you should read this if you want to like escape and not have anything too heavy. So yeah, really enjoying it. That's all I have to say. I guess we'll see once I get to the other 50% of it. But this is like a really short read, so I'm probably going to finish it today. Yeah. And next time you'll see me, we'll see if this setup lasts. We'll see if in a book review this ends up being my permanent setup. It's literally just me turning the camera around. That's literally it. Hello. let's get into this. This video was going to go completely different in my head, but as I get into the review of these books, you'll see as to why it is what it is now. But so, as you guys know, I read 5 Black indie romances, and the reason I wanted to do this video is because, like, in on the booktube space, apart from, I am a smaller booktuber, very small, just starting, but there's just not a lot of like reviews of Black indie romance on the space. So I thought it would be fun to read, the 5 most popular ones and share that with you guys, and let y'all know how this goes. I don't think I read these books in the best mental space, so maybe, we'll get into it. I'm going to be very fair on my 5 books. So there's 5 books. Okay. So let me not waste any time because I have a lot of thoughts on each one. So I'm going to go in order from the first one I read to the last one I read, because I think it also went with I think it's kind of out of order in terms of enjoyment. But the first book I read to kick it all off was Vibrations by Casey Mills. And Vibrations is about this journalist who is assigned to this football player who's like retired from the league. Pretty much, he hasn't been playing, named Wright, because of this accident that ended up killing his sister that he was blamed for. And he was already like the bad boy in the NFL, but it really tarnished his image. So he's been pretty much like a recluse, Beauty and the Beast type ish, in his house, his big old mansion. So that's pretty much the story, and she's trying to get like the true story of what exactly happened the night of that accident. This one was really short. This is my first time ever reading Casey Mills. She has hundreds of books, hundreds, and I just think I picked one that wasn't for me because I enjoyed the writing. I did, and by the end, I was into it. Like, I finished it. It didn't take me that long to read. I was just not invested in this. Like, I wasn't invested in their relationship, I was just like, okay, like they were deeply in love and I wasn't deeply in love with their love. And that's all I'm going to say. Okay, so the second book I read was the one that is like most popular. Like, everybody on pretty much Book Talk and Bookstagram has been talking about this book. And it's from J.L. Seegars, and it's Restore Me. And this one is an enemies to lovers. Enemies, I'm using enemies loosely. So, Sloane, I believe I'm saying the main character's name right. So Sloane is a widow, has been a widow for 4 years, and she's like been heavily grieving the loss of her husband. I believe his name was Eric. Don't let me get to lying, y'all. And don't let me get to lying. But yeah, so yeah, she's been grieving, and his best friend Dominic, they've never really like got along. Like, they've always had this rift, like this back and forth with one another. And I'm saying it's not really enemies to lovers because we're not really, or Sloane is not really sure why Dominic doesn't like her, because she's like, I've never done anything. I'm not sure why he treats me like basura, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't exist. But really, Dominic just doesn't acknowledge her presence. Like, he doesn't acknowledge she exists because Dominic likes Sloane and is in love with Sloane, which was another thing that was just all like, the reason he loves her from like this one encounter they had, like, yeah, like freshman year of college at a party. And now they're like 30. So I'm just all like, he's done slept with other people. He has been through life. And I was just like, and when you get the encounter that they met, you're just all like, I don't understand why Dominic is pining over Sloane like this. Because he's like, I'm madly in love with this girl. Like, I'm very protective, like, over her. And I just wasn't, it was giving weird behavior for me. So it did kind of take away from me, like, really investing in like their love. But I know people love Restore Me, and it was really well written. Restore Me is part of a New Haven series, and the side characters, they're in the next series, Revive Me, and I feel like I would like Revive Me, so maybe I'll read Revive Me. And because I enjoyed the writing. There were some things about the writing that was just kind of like it just felt like there was some descriptions that were really repetitive. And every time he called her Angel, it wasn't endearing for me. Like, it didn't hold a special place in my heart. At some point, I was just like, call her Angel one more time. And if his eyes got dark one more time, I was going to lose my mind. I was going to lose my mind. But I really did actually enjoy Restore Me because it was like almost 500 pages, I believe. It's almost 500 pages story. Yeah, 465. And it didn't take me that long to read. I breezed through it. There was parts that I was really in. I felt like there was too many sex scenes. I mean, I know y'all, you know, I know the girlies love some smut or whatever, but it was too much. It was too much. Like, it was too much. I just need some more intimate moments that did not involve sexual intimacy, if you feel what I'm saying. Like, just, I think I skipped maybe one or two. I feel like I skipped two because I was just all like, I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. But yeah, I get why the girlies like Restore Me. I do. Um, it's not like a hold a special place in my heart, but it was an enjoyable read. And I would definitely read more from her. So yeah. So that was the second book I read. And then the third book I read was from Rilzy Adams. This one I was really excited about because the girlies talk about Rilzy. They say she's that girl. And I wanted to know what was going on. Like, I wanted to be a part of this conversation. So I read the one that like I've heard the most conversation about, and that is Go Deep. And that one is Friends to Lovers. A Friends to Lovers story. And pretty much so it follows oh my gosh. Woo, why am I losing names in my head? So it follows these two friends who the main character, Navaya, she's an erotica writer, but she's like in a slump because she's still processing, or yeah, she's still like getting over her breakup that kind of like ended in shambles. So she's just been really like, her stories, they're dry, you know, they're not hitting the way they should be hitting. So she ends up coming to an agreement with her friend Xander, and she was all like, we should just sleep together so I can like reignite my writing juices. So they have like this agreement to sleep together to get her out of her rut. And that's pretty much the story. But they end up falling in love because, you know, friends to lovers. The banter was funny. I actually enjoyed the back and forth. I actually enjoyed the dialogue in this. It was a fun read. This one was actually really fun. It was fun. The smut was not too much, but still like enjoyably fun. And it was a quick read. It was a quick, fun, light read, lighthearted. I enjoyed this. I get why people like Rilzy Adams. Because this was like, I think this was a good choice in terms of like, when people talk about this author, like why a lot of people talk about this particular story. So, and this is another one that's a series. It's the Unexpected Lover series. And this one also has B-side characters in it that end up getting their own story. And I was actually very interested in their story in this book. So, I'm 100%. I think I already downloaded it. I'm 100% going to end up reading the second installment of this series because this is just a novella. It's only like 130 pages, but the B-side, you know, friends in the book, they're like, it's a whole like novel, like it's full length, standalone. So yeah, I'm excited to read that one. And I actually really enjoyed this. Out of, you know, we're only on number 3, but out of the 3, this one was my favorite and was, I think, the most easiest for me to breeze through and read and really like enjoy the storyline of this one. There's not much I can say about it. I feel like towards the end though, like I don't like miscommunication. So that was one thing that I was just like, okay, it felt a little bit like draggy, I guess. And yeah, it was just kind of, the ending was kind of blah for me, but that's okay. It was still a cute read. So yes, I'm with the girlies on this one. Okay, so number 4. Whew, this is one I struggled with. I think this is the one that's going to have the longest commentary. So the next one I read is by Gray Huffington and it's called Luca. Luca, Luca, Luca. I really struggled through this one. I did. On total transparency and honesty, I didn't really even really I couldn't really finish it. I was kind of like breezing through trying to finish it. So it wasn't like I was seriously like intensely reading these pages. So it's about the character Ever escapes. I'm going to say escapes. She leaves her abusive husband with her 2 kids and moves in with her friend Lyric. Is it Lyric or Lyrica? It's Lyrica, I believe. And moves in with her friend. I'm just making sure I'm checking the pages. Yeah, and moves in with her friend Lyrica to like get back on her feet. And she was, back to her old town. And Lyrica's brother, who's been in jail for 8 years because he killed her boyfriend, who was also abusive, he's coming out of jail. So, she goes with her to go pick him up, and there's like insta love. And I hate insta love. That's like the number one trope that's like, I can't get into it. Not a trope, but just, I don't like insta love. So they're just like instantly like, they love each other. And that's pretty much it. There was just no build up. It was just, and I didn't really like Luca. I didn't like Luca. Like Luca was just, it was coming on too strong. It was too strong. It was like, he was by her like diamonds and pearls and, I'm thinking of Prince. It was just too much. And it was like, baby, you just met this woman. Like, how are you already talking about that's my wife? You ready to like take the kids and make them your own, and you don't even know her. And she was just all like, oh, I need time to process. I just came out of this really long-term abusive relationship. But in that, she's just all like, oh, but like, I want to be only with you and you can only be mine. And it was just, it was too much. It was too much. And it was too heavy-handed. I was cringing in a way, like it was just I was just like, why is this 400? It's like 432 pages. I was like, this is way too long. Granted, other stuff happens, and granted, okay, Luca's supposed to be fine. Like Luca, we get it. Luca's good looking, but it was too much. It was too much. I was struggling. And I think also it's just the writing style. Maybe the writing style just isn't for me. But this is like another series. This is the Eisenberg series. So this is the first installment and there's 2 more installments. And I just don't think, the writing style, I just don't feel like I can continue this. And I don't get it, guys. I'm sorry. I don't get it. I don't get the Luca one. This is actually was the most disappointing. I don't get, like, okay, I'm lying. I do get what people would like about this. But it's not my cup of tea. Yeah. And I love me like a good urban street lit, but not really street lit, because like Luca and his family are into some like organized crime, but we don't know well, we do know, but like it's not like he on the streets drug dealing, if you feel what I'm saying. So yeah, just wasn't for me. So Luca, we're just gonna leave it where it's at. I was trying to give like the positives for somebody who would be interested in it, like to go check it out. But that's all I got for y'all. Okay, and then the last one, this is the one I actually was the most excited about. Restore Me and this one were my top 2 that I was just like, okay, I'm very excited to read this. A Worthy Love by A.E. Valdez. This one actually was super for a Kindle read. This was super well written. I didn't care for the storyline. As you can tell from when I was talking about Restore Me, I'm not, which is so funny because I feel like Go Deep is more like erotica. I'm not into like that much smut. Like that's too much. It's too much, y'all. Like For the girlies that like it, that's for y'all. But it's too much, and I just like the the development. While this one did have good development on like building a relationship and like a love, for somebody, I just wasn't into. We got married in Vegas for 5 seconds, and now we like hate each. Well, she hates him. He's just like amused by the banter. And I don't know, just the reason that they're in each other's lives, it felt conjured. Like I couldn't expend my disbelief for it. Yeah, so I just wasn't invested in their. I wasn't invested. And I know I have not heard one person say that they do not like a worthy love. I couldn't get into it. And I feel bad for saying that because there's nothing wrong with this book. I 100% get why people like this book. I just think this storyline wasn't for me. So this is another author that I'm probably going to do this again, but read something different because I think this particular storyline just wasn't my cup of tea. Because as I've said, I don't really care for second romance, like second chance, even though is it really a second chance? For me, second chance is like you were in a full-blown relationship with somebody and it didn't work. Not like we've had like a one-off thing and now we're back in each other's lives after this one-off thing kind of thing. That's not second chance to me. This is more like, I guess it's like enemies to lovers, but still friends to lovers because they're in the same friend circle. Like they're in the same friend circle. They just had this one incident that's put them into this enemies to lovers type situation. But yeah, this is like the dialogue, the description. Like sometimes sometimes the dialogue can be off, I feel, for a story, and sometimes the description and the details of a story of the story can be a little bit heavy-handed. And I feel like this was just really well balanced and well written. Again, it just was not for me. So let me just do the takeaways about how I feel at this moment about Black indie romance. I feel like first, the last time I've read Black indie romance, it's been a while, and there's so much out, especially on Kindle, and I think a lot of well-written stories out there, I felt like when I have fell off from indie romance, it was very much in when they talked about multicultural or like indie Black romance, 9 times out of 10 it was like an interracial story, and it was giving Wattpad. No shade to my Wattpadders, it was giving 50 Shades of Grey. But these are like really solid written stories, and I think I just need to find a storyline that I connect with. So again, my favorite was Go Deep by Rosie Adams. She that girl, I get it. I'm gonna go read some more about her immediatamente. Okay. Restore Me. I like Restore Me was good too. I just think that there was just a few things that kind of for seconds took me away from the story. And I'm a bottom. I'm sorry, it's Luca. Luca's at my it wasn't it. But I really did I have fun? I struggled. By the end, I think and like, as you can see, if you look behind me, I have a whole bunch of like actual physical books that I need to get through. We'll see. This might be something that I do towards the end of the year just because I need like a break. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in another video. I'm trying to keep it short and sweet for you all. And also trying to get this out to you because as you're getting this, I am out the country. So it's my birthday weekend. Okay, I'm gone. So until the next time, guys, bye.